Hello everyone and welcome to the Beaconstac webinar on how Eddystone can be the most powerful tool for businesses in 2017. We are joined here by our lead engineer Kshitij Deo as well, who will give you a demo on how to set up an Eddystone campaign from scratch using the Beaconstac dashboard. This webinar is loaded with nuggets of information that we want to share with all of you. I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. I'm really excited and so is Kshitij. In today's webinar, we'll discuss what Eddystone is and why it is a great tool for proximity marketing. We'll then discuss the most popular use cases for Eddystone beacons, after which we'll take you through some of our own client projects that have been extremely successful. In the end, we'll discuss the nuances of setting up an Eddystone campaign from scratch. This will be followed by a demo prepared by Kshitij, and in the end, as always, we'll answer questions from you. So let's get started. Coming to what Eddystone is, as most of you would already know, it's a beacon protocol introduced by Google in 2015, almost 2 years after Apple launched the iBeacon protocol. It is cross-platform and is capable of supporting Android, iOS, and any other platform that supports BLE beacons. So that is it about Eddystone. Let's talk about the different packets that Eddystone broadcasts and how it is different from the iBeacon protocol. So the Eddystone UUID, which is similar to the iBeacon UUID, works with native apps essentially. Eddystone URL, which is what really differentiates this from iBeacon protocol, is based on the idea that an app that interacts with a beacon can go directly to the URL without the app having to convert it into a destination web address. This is one of the key selling points for Eddystone, if you may say. The next comes Eddystone telemetry, which refers to which simply beams the battery levels and other diagnostic data. Moving on, let's talk about proximity marketing with Eddystone is such a big deal today. The proximity marketing industry itself will be worth about $52.46 billion by 2022, and more than half, that is like 55% of the industry players are expected to support Eddystone format. And the biggest reason for agencies to choose Eddystone over iBeacon is that it eliminates the need for an app. Moving on, we'll discuss how that makes so much of a difference. As you see on the screen, for Eddystone beacons to work, you simply need the Chrome browser app installed on user's phone. And in case of Android, it can also be the physical web app. So you really don't need any third-party app or to build your own app to reach out to your customers. In case of iBeacon, what we've seen is, brands that don't have their own app, or even if they have their own app but don't have a sizable audience base, they try to use a third-party app such as Shazam or WeChat so that they can reach out to a large audience base. Eddystone solves this problem as well. You don't really need to use any other app. The Chrome browser app is pre-installed on most of the phones out there, especially Android. So you don't really need to use any third-party app. You can just reach out to customers whenever you want to. Now that we know that Eddystone is a preferred tool for proximity marketing, let's look at the most popular Eddystone use cases. The most common use case is the one used in commercial settings, such as retail stores, malls, etc. Eddystone can be used to target customers inside retail stores or to lure them into entering the store. It can also be used by busy restaurants for the guest queuing system, where waiting customers are informed about the wait times using Eddystone URLs. Another very popular use case and something that is most talked about with respect to Eddystone is public utility. Users can be sent information about bus and train schedules or asked to fill public surveys. In case of tourists, this is especially useful as they'll not need to download an app for, say, finding bus schedules or download another app to know the train timings, etc. The third use case, another common use case, is that in public places, and this could in general be used for advertising products at public places, collecting feedback, running all sorts of campaigns. A very interesting use case was attaching attaching video clips to movie posters. So anyone who came in vicinity of the movie poster could see a video clip from that movie. Moving on from the most popular use cases, let's talk about some of the very interesting Eddystone campaigns that made a mark. The first campaign was by media agency Entertainment One. So what Entertainment One really did was it leveraged Google Nearby notifications to promote the new movie BFG. As part of this initiative, which was also called BFG Dream Jar Trade, 56-foot beacon-enabled dream jars were placed at different locations across London. And these jars sent push notifications to all smartphone users within 15 meters of its range. And the notifications were designed to prompt passers-by about the nearby dream jar so they could visit the dream jar and get a first-hand experience of it. These notifications also included additional content, digital content about the movie. It was a great campaign because it was able to engage and interact with audiences much before the movie launch and created a lot of interest in the movie. The next campaign that we talk about is Waze. And as part of their beacons program, Waze aims to install Eddystone beacons in the tunnels that the company has in its database. And knowing their large database, they would cover around 75,000 miles around the world. These beacons will be configured in such a way they'll be configured to transmit signals to Bluetooth enabled smartphones at the user's end. So essentially this will work like a GPS does in places where signals are available, and in places where signals are not easily available such as tunnels, Bluetooth will do the same job. A total of about 42 beacons will be required to provide coverage for every mile in the tunnel, and the campaign has already kicked off and beacons have been placed at 2 tunnels already. Moving on, let's discuss some of Beaconstac's own campaigns and what we learned from them. Among the dozens of deployments that we have done ourselves, we're talking about 2 today because they were different from the others. So the first one is about HasGeek, which is a popular tech organizer event in India. It leveraged Beaconstac's platform at the data sciences event called the Fifth Elephant. The main aim here was to inform customers about the steps involved in connecting to the Wi-Fi network available at the center. So the way the campaign worked was 6 beacons were installed at the entrance to the event, and as attendees approached the entrance, they received a notification on their phone. Once they clicked on the notification, a simple 3-step procedure on how to connect to the Wi-Fi was broadcasted through a card. So those of you who are wondering what a card is a web-based UI layout which is offered by the Beaconstack platform. It is unique to us and it's not very commonly available in other platforms. If we talk about results, a total of 690 notifications were triggered in one day, and the social share buttons received a total of 241 clicks, which is almost equal to a 35% conversion rate, which is unheard on digital channels. Even if you get a 2 to 3% conversion rate, it's considered to be great. And we achieved a conversion ratio of 35% here. Okay, the next case study we have is about a popular tech giant that is leveraging Beaconstack to inform users again about the availability of free Wi-Fi at multiple locations in India. India is a huge country and internet is not so easily available. So this popular tech giant is trying to make Wi-Fi available at the most rural of places in India. It's a very large project and Beaconstack is enabling that project in India. As part of this project, beacons have been installed across 32 locations already, and each location has around 20 beacons. On a daily basis, around 33,000 notifications are sent every day. The click rate is around 13 to 14%, which is again a great sign considering, one of the major concerns that most customers have is that, well, people have Bluetooth on. But looking at the number of clicks that we get on these notifications, it looks like it's not a big problem. So to sum it up, a notification rate of 3,000 notifications per day and a click-through rate of 13 to 14%, again unmatched on digital channels. Moving on, let's talk about how you can set up your own Eddystone campaign from scratch. So the first point is obviously you need to identify the goal of your campaign. Do you want to drive more app downloads, or do you want to increase your sales? Do you want to drive in customers inside your store? Maybe people who would have gone to your neighboring store, your competitor store. Do you want to collect feedback about how your store works or about the staff in your store? or generally gather analytics on customer responses, what they like about your store, what they don't like about your store, what time of the day do they visit your store, and stuff like that. So the next step, once you've decided that you'll use beacon and why you'll use beacons, is to purchase beacons. And considering we're talking about Eddystone, I'm only talking about Eddystone. So what are the features you should look for in these beacons? Obviously, they should be Eddystone compliant. You should also get a mobile friendly dashboard with it because you'll be reaching to people on mobile. You should get content cards like I just discussed, the web-based UI, pre-built lead generation forms, customer survey forms, pre-configured custom URLs, which is where people will be led to if they click to the URL. All of it is already available in the Eddystone dashboard offered by Beaconstac, and you'll not get it from any other competitor in the market. Third and very important point is location setup. A lot of people end up buying beacons, but they don't really know how to place it. You need to correlate the placement of beacons with your use case. So if you, on a very large scale, if you try to divide the kind of beacon deployments, you could break it up into two parts: grid-based and point-based. Point-based beacon deployment is more heard of in general. It's because you try to interact with people at one specific point, say the entrance or a product that is on sale or some particular rack where you want to send offers. This is a more common use case with our clients as well. The second one is grid-based deployment. This is more to understand how users are moving across the store. Say if you want to implement in-store navigation, or you want to understand the footfall or the traffic, you want to generate heat maps. In that case, you should go for grid-based deployment. Otherwise, you should prefer point-based deployment. Once you've decided what kind of layout you want, you need to create a flow plan. Again, a very important thing to note is that you have to keep in mind that beacon signals are affected by interference. They are hindered by metallic surfaces, water, plaster, a lot of things affect beacon signals. So you need to keep all of that in mind. The next thing to do is map down the points of interest, which are the locations you want to interact with your customers the most. And for the maximum accuracy, you should place beacons somewhere between 3 meters to 5 meters above the ground. Not very high, not very low. Moving on, I think Kshitij will present his demo on how to set up a campaign using the Beaconstack dashboard.
When you log into your dashboard, you will be landed on the beacons page. You will see the list of all your beacons here. You can expand it to see more details about the beacon, or you can click on that beacon to see how you can create campaigns for that. And below that are some additional information about the beacon, like when it was created, what is the temperature, etc. For now, we'll stick to the campaign section. You'll see there are 4 possible types of campaigns: card type, customer satisfaction, lead generation, and custom URL. We will start with the card type. So there are 2 template cards already created, but we are going to create a new one. Click on the cards on the left hand menu and hit add a new card. It's pretty straightforward to create a card. Just add a title here and a body. You can make the body heading type. So let me tell you, this widget is a markdown widget, and there are helper buttons on top, so you should be good to go here. So I just added this heading, and now I can add some subheadings by clicking on the heading twice or thrice as I wish. You can create bulleted list by clicking on this icon here. You can keep previewing how your card looks like as you keep writing by hitting the preview button here. You can insert an image here. All you have to do is enter the URL of the image. So I have this image open in front of me. I copy the URL and paste it here. You can enter a title for the image. And then let's preview it. You can see there's an image below that. You can also add call to action button here. Just click this link, enter the title of the button, and enter a URL which should open when you click on this button. So I have this web page, store.beaconstac.com, which I'm going to copy and paste into that. And if I see the preview, you can see there's a button, buy now. You can also see that the card is responsive. Now that I like the card, I'm going to add this card. You see it appears in the list here. Now I'm going to assign this card to the beacon of our choice. I click on the beacon, scroll down to the card section, and you can see this card appears here. I choose that and hit a preview. It shows the same preview, and I save this card. Now let's see this card in action. I am on my phone. I have the Today widget open in front of me, and Chrome widget is added already. And you can see the Buy Beacons card appears here. If I click on that, it opens in the Chrome browser like this with the same image and the same button. If I click on the Buy Now button, it takes me to the store page as we had configured. Now let's go back to the beacon and try to create a different type of campaign. This time I'm going to choose a customer satisfaction type of campaign and hit the save button. Our template customer satisfaction page is created. Now let's go back to the phone and see this customer satisfaction survey in action. So if I open the notification drawer and go to the Chrome widget, I'll see this new title for the same beacon, customer satisfaction survey. Clicking on it opens this form in Chrome browser. I'm just going to fill in all the answers here. So just for your information, this is a template form which we have created. If you want to create your own form, you should maybe use one of these services, generate a URL and just paste that URL onto our dashboard. For now the questions are fixed and cannot be changed. I hit the submit button and this form with all the information gets submitted. I can go back to the dashboard now and see all the responses submitted by various customers. I click on the form responses section, click on customer satisfaction. Since I was the only one to fill up this form, I see the list here. I can download it as a CSV. Similarly, you can create a custom URL campaign. Click on custom URL and enter the URL of your choice. For now I'm going to enter store.beaconstac.com. Next time when your customer opens their notification drawer, they should see this URL. Now let's go to the analytics section and see what all data has been recorded so far. As you can see, there are 19 notifications sent out and 20 views, top 5 beacons by performance and top 5 cards by performance. These are the notifications which has been displayed over time. You can see the distribution of various campaigns, customer satisfaction versus card versus custom URL. You can even enter your Google Analytics ID and this data will be recorded in your Google Analytics dashboard. Now let's go to places. You can see a list of all the places here, or you can add a new place. For now I'll go ahead and show you an existing one. As you can see, this place shows up on Google Maps and there's a logo attached to this place which shows up on top of your card. You can change this logo if you want. And under beacons you can see you can filter your beacons by places. I mean, that sort of becomes very convenient at times if you have hundreds of beacons in your account. So that's about it for today's demo.
As of now, we'll quickly discuss what all you can do with the Eddystone platform. You can have unlimited user interactions. The platform is integrated with Google Analytics. You just need to put in your Google Analytics ID number into the platform, and you can see all the analytics in GA as well, which is a great way to map how your campaign is working. We have rule-based rotating URL, so you don't really need to edit each and every condition that you put in. Say you want to send one particular offer at say 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning and a different offer at 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. You can just create a rule-based rotating URL. So the same URL will send, show different offers at different times of the day. We also have custom domain and customer support. Um, like I said, you can engage on Google Chrome and send real-time offers based on their location. Set up URL on a very easy to use dashboard and create a campaign in say 15 minutes. Drive traffic to a URL of your choice, conduct customer surveys, share special offers, etc. One of the things that our clients most frequently use is to collect customer responses and analyze the data that they get from these. It's very easy to just send out a survey form to anybody who's entering your store and collect all the data and see what kind of response you get. So that's it from the presentation point of view. Please type in your questions and we'll try and answer them as many as we can in the next 10 minutes. So waiting for your questions. In the meantime, you can visit and check out the pricing plans or have a look at the beacons the platform that we offer. Share it with you on the chat window. Okay, so one very common question that we are receiving is when will the presentation be sent out? We'll aim at sending it latest by day after tomorrow and as early as tomorrow itself. Not later than noon day after tomorrow. IST, I mean. The next question is, can you explain nearby notifications that you mentioned? Nearby notifications is basically, so to say, a project by Google, and it's native on Android devices, which means that Android users will be automatically onboarded when they are in the proximity of, say, of an Eddystone beacon for the first time. And as a first-time users, what the notification that they would see is something like tap to explore or turn off this feature. And once the user taps on the notification, he can see a list of beacons in the vicinity. And at this point, the user can either opt in for receiving such notifications for the future, or deactivate it, so they'll never get those notifications again. It basically runs in the background on all Android devices, KitKat 4.4 and above, and Android devices keep searching for beacons all the time. Does your platform integrate with Google's Eddystone platform to use Google products like location and nearby? Yes, it does. You can use both location and nearby with our platform. And I think nearby is the most frequently used and the most awesome product, I would say, to use with our platform. So the next question is, what are the things mandatory for a user to receive notifications once he's in the range of a beacon? So to receive beacon enabled notifications, the user needs to switch on Bluetooth, enable location on his mobile, and switch on either Wi-Fi or connect to a data pack on his or device. If it's an iBeacon compatible beacon, the user will also need to have the product or the brand specific app on his phone. If it's an Eddystone beacon, they just need the Chrome browser app on their device. The next question is, Okay, what is the difference between physical web and Eddystone? So, Eddystone, like I discussed during the webinar itself, is a beacon format that was introduced by Google in July 2015, and it has three type of different payloads like Eddystone URL, Eddystone Unique ID, and telemetry. Physical web, on the other hand, is the entire proximity ecosystem as well itself, and it has been envisioned by Google, and Eddystone Beacon just supports this physical web concept. To say it, in one sentence, I would say Eddystone Beacon and the Chrome browser together make the physical web happen. Another question is, how do you go about making and updating the notifications and SMS on the Beaconstack platform? The first thing is that beacons can not be used to trigger SMS. They can only send notifications. And you can leverage, say, a dashboard like Beaconstacks to set up notifications with all sort of different content layout types. It could be a visual content, it could be even a video format or a feedback form, or you could direct your users to a link of your choice. The next question we have is, can I use Eddystone beacons to broadcast text instead of your URL? Um, Theoretically you can, but it would not be of much use because the Eddystone URL itself has to start with an HTTP or HTTPS. And if a user happens to click on, just text, the browser would open and it would give an error page. So it's best to just send them to a URL. Is there any limit on the number of SMS notifications that can be sent via your platform? Okay, like we mentioned, we cannot send SMS, but there's no limit on the number of notifications you can send via the platform. The next question is, why do we need location turned on for beacons? So it's a location-based technology to say, and for the app to know where you are exactly, the beacon, the location should be turned on for the beacon to actually interact and find you wherever you are and send a notification. The next one is, which are the other successful deployments you spoke about? So we already discussed HasGeek and the tech giant that we spoke about. We also have one of the world's largest quick service restaurants leveraging Eddystone beacons from Beaconstack to send promotional offers to its customers inside the store and also to collect feedback from them. It's a very interesting use case, and we hope to go live with this very soon, as in announce it in public. As of now, we have an NDA, so we can't disclose the name of this QSR chain, but say by end of February, we should be able to announce it on our blogs. Another very recent program that we're running is a large-scale telecom provider, very popular, especially in the United States, leveraging Eddystone beacons to drive traffic at its own stores and its client stores. So the next question is, we have our own application. Can we still use your platform to set the actions that the app should perform? So from what I understand, do you want your own app to perform those, or you just want it to be performed using the Chrome browser itself? It doesn't matter if you have your own application. If you're using Eddystone, you can just reach out to people using the Chrome browser app, and you can set up all these functionalities on that. In case you have an app, you could use the Beaconstack iBeacon platform, which will do essentially the same things, but will reach out to your customers using via your own app. I think you could choose depending on the use case you have in mind. We could discuss this further, say offline, if you want more details or more guidance on this. Okay, I think the last question for the evening would be, how do Eddystone beacons fit into the beacon space, considering there's so much hype about iBeacon in itself? Like we've discussed already, one of the major selling points for Eddystone is that the app liberation. You don't really need your own app to reach to your customers, or you don't need to use a third-party app to reach out to customers. And that in itself is a big flexibility for businesses. They don't need to worry about how they reach out to their customers. So I think that's the most important differentiator between Eddystone beacons and iBeacons. And considering the reach of Chrome, the Chrome browser app itself. There's unlimited possibilities for you to reach out to people and interact with them in any way you want. Okay, then I think that's it for the evening. Have a very good day, and thank you all for joining us from all parts of the world.